chapter 3 and verse number 20. Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 20. Now, oh my God. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the energeo, according to the power that works in us. How he works, the extent or the greatness of his ability to work in our lives is according to the energy force, the energizing force that flows from our spirits. That energy can be at different levels, flowing at different times. The more energy that God imparts, the more energy can flow forth from. Yes. Now, naturally, we know that there are many forms of energy today. Every form of energy can do a different or specific work. There's a certain level of energy that remains in us because of our born-again experience. That's the seed. But from there, he expects you to grow. And we must be sensitive to our level of growth. We have to be sensitive to the flow or the release of the Holy Spirit in us. Now, the devil also has energy. He also has a force that he activates, which Romans 7 tells us about. That is the law of sin and death. The law of sin and death, along with the force of the enemy, works through your flesh. By nature. Don't have to try. By nature, there are works of your flesh. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19 tells us that. I want to show you something, because Galatians chapter 5, as a matter of fact, let's turn there. Galatians 5 and verse, we are talking about your spiritual legacy, your spiritual inheritance, which is what you have been left, what you have inherited in order for you to have power to change and transform. Galatians chapter 5, and I want to read starting at verse number 19. Now, the works of the flesh are evident. Listen to this now. Which are, you ready? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, oh my God, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envies, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and such like. The Bible, he stops right there. But let me help you with some such likes, okay? Abuse, accusation, ambition, anger, anxiousness, betrayal, bitterness, complaining, compromise, compulsive behavior, condemnation, cowardness, critical spirits, cursing, deceiving, depression, desolate, discontent, disobedient, doubt, deceiving, drunkenness, emulations, I can go on, hopelessness, homosexuality, idolatry, indifference, jealousy, judgmentalness, laziness, a lying spirit, lovers of pleasure, lustful, unforgiving. But I'm talking about works of the flesh. This is what God has to plow through in you to get to you. And this is what he's got to plow through in order to transform you. So now that sheds a whole new light on, I'm going to go to church and I'm going to change. That sheds a whole new light on that. Or I sing in the choir, so I'm okay. Or I usher, nature real good, so I'm okay. That sheds a whole nother light on that. You need the inner gale. You need the energizing of the Holy Spirit to illuminate on all of the works of the flesh, to show you what they are, and then get you to give him permission to deal with it. He's not going to just do it just because he can. You've got to yield to the process of transformation, because you were in all your works of the flesh. Darkness, dark brain, dark mind, dark thinking. Everything works of the flesh by nature. Now he comes in and he begins the transformation. Now, each of us, all of us, we have the ability. How do I say this? The law of sin and death works kind of like iron to a magnet. It draws you. You're pulled towards it by nature. It can overpower you and consume you because it's what you're comfortable with. And so when the devil tempts you, it could be lust, it could be sex, it could be drugs, it could be to lie. It's a strong draw to that because it is in you. You are drawn like a piece of iron is drawn to a magnet. So the process of God, your salvation process, you are literally pulling against the magnet that is drawing you. You're pulling against the draw of sin.